All right, it looks like we are live. Sorry to everyone out there in the virtual world who has been waiting on us. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties. We actually got through about 6 minutes of of Lauren showing us some great stuff before I discovered that we weren't actually on the live stream. So um let's start this out again today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Live Yes lunch break. We are so excited to have you here. This is our second Live Yes lunch break that we've had. And this week, our focus is on fitness. So, Lauren Roselle is here with us, and she is a fitness expert. And we are so excited to have her. So, I want her to just give you a little background about herself and what she does and why she is an expert to be here today. So, Lauren, I'll hand it over to you.
Hi everyone, Lauren Rosella here. I am a fitness wellness instructor. I have been in fitness for about 10 years now, primarily with a focus in group fitness as well as one-on-one training. I have specialties in Pilates, yoga, barre, TRX strength training, high intensity work, but I also do work with special populations as well. I am primarily employed by Rex Healthcare, which is a hospital-based wellness center here in Raleigh. And that's where I work with a majority of my clients.
Wonderful. Thanks, Lauren. So, as you and I both know, obviously for our arthritis patients, staying moving is really important to keeping their joints working. And I don't know about you, but during social distancing right now, it's been a little bit more tough to keep moving. So, we were hoping that today you could share some modifications for us for our arthritis patients who maybe are used to having some special equipment at the gym that they use, or are just, they don't have equipment at their house, or are using some homemade equipment, if you will, at your house. So specifically for folks that are having trouble with the joints in their fingers, elbows, wrists, shoulders, ankles, knees, hips. So yeah, we would love for you to show us some of that.
Great. All right. So the first thing I'll say is that I myself am having trouble finding ways to creatively work out at home. I am used to having just about every machine at my disposal. I'm not much of a runner either, so I don't do much cardio running out. And it has been definitely a challenge for me to find creative ways of working out at home. So I just recently acquired a couple heavy dumbbells. I hadn't had any weight training equipment except basically some circle bands, some resistance bands, a very light set of hand weights, a big resistance ball, and mainly body weight exercises. But the beauty of our body is that we have basically everything we need in our body to do exercises that we want to do. So the first thing I'll say is if you are struggling with arthritis or you have rheumatoid arthritis and you are new to strength training, it is really, really important to do some sort of weight-bearing exercise to strengthen and support those muscles that surround the joints that you may be experiencing some pain or discomfort with. Strengthening those muscles is going to give you greater range of motion in those joints and just overall strengthen and support your skeletal system. So we'll start, and I have a chair with me right here because a chair is going to be a great way for you to modify some of our basic exercises. So I'm going to turn to the side, and we're just going to start with a basic chair squat. So I'm going to start in a supported chair squat using that chair to kind of help assist me into a standing position. And then I'm going to sit back down using that chair for support. As you gain strength and have the ability to do this, feet are going to be about hip width apart for greater base of support. And you can lift your arms out in front of you and eliminate that extra boost with your arms. We can use this chair for hip flexion exercise. So if you have any hip impingements or any struggles with your hips, it's going to be really important to strengthen all of the muscles that surround that hip to improve your range of motion and your strength. So we're going to start off with a little hip flexion. We're just going to march in place in a seated position. If this is a little bit too easy for you, you can do this standing. So standing hip flexion exercise where we would lift one leg at a time, bracing your core, keeping that base knee slightly soft. We always want to keep that knee joint soft so we support our weight with our muscles and not those joints, and we'll just lift and lower. Then we can do a quadricep exercise where we extend one leg at a time at the knee, engaging that quadricep as we lift and lower that leg. Then we can stand up. You're gonna probably want to do these in a standing position. So we want to strengthen our hip extensors and our glute medius. So we're going to do some abduction work. So we're just going to lift that leg to the side and lower, again, keeping that base knee soft to help support you in balance. Always have something nearby that's supportive so that you can lean on if you have any troubles with balance. And then we're going to take that leg back behind us, lifting that leg as high as we can while keeping that nice, strong upper body, and then lower that leg back down to the ground. Squeezing that glute. That glute is going to support your hip as well. So moving on to some upper body exercises. And you can do these all from a seated position. So watching your favorite shows or whatever you want to do, you can do all of these in a seated position. We can start with a bicep curl, and it does not need to be weighted. We don't have to have any weights here. Focusing on the movement of that muscle and creating your own resistance is plenty. I do have a set of 2-pound weights that you can add in. If you don't have weights, that's fine. You can also use a soup can or a bean can or something you have lying around the house, and then start to build into those movements with a little extra added weight. I would only start with 2 to 3 pounds to start with, building up. You don't want to create so much discomfort in those muscles and joints that it makes you not want to move the next day. So taking it slowly, especially if you're brand new to strength training. So I particularly love these TheraBands, and if you've ever been to physical therapy, you may have one of these. They come in a variety of different resistances. This one in particular has 2 open ends, and I like to use this for shoulder exercises. So posterior delt work, posterior shoulder exercises, we just open and close those arms. And this is not a whole lot of resistance. The more slack I give myself in that band, the less resistance I'm going to have. The closer my hands are, the more resistance I'm going to create for myself. And then we can wrap that band around our feet and come to a front shoulder raise. If you have any shoulder impingements, I would avoid anything overhead, as this can cause some discomfort in your shoulders, and the risks outweigh the benefits. So I would avoid anything overhead, but definitely you can do anything up to shoulder level, side raises, front raises, and then those posterior delt exercises.
And if one of our friends has some issues with being able to actually grip that, do you have any recommendations for how they can still use a band like that if they're not able to physically grip around it?
You can always, like for mine, I can wrap it a couple times around my hands, and it's sticky enough that it works. Leading into that though, if you do struggle with grip strength, a great exercise you can do is just to squeeze your fingertips or squeeze your fists as tight as you can, and then release, separating those fingertips as wide as you can. Squeezing and releasing, that'll strengthen those muscles in your hand and increase circulation to those joints to help improve that range of motion and that strength in the joints. It's a good question.
Thanks. So we also know that a lot of people are very much into cardio, and maybe they're used to having some equipment at their gym that they don't have access to anymore, whether that's a swimming pool or an elliptical machine. And we know that a lot of our patients have some issues with needing that low impact. Do you have any recommendations for our arthritis family at home if they want to get some cardio in, but maybe need more low impact to it?
I definitely would highly recommend walking. I mean, walking is one of the best things that you can do for arthritis and for your heart, for your cardiovascular system. Brisk walking. And if that's not doable for you for whatever reason, maybe you live in a large city. If you have stairs in your home, that's another great way to get your heart rate up, going up and down the stairs. Chair exercises too, increasing your cardio. So anytime you have a high impact type of exercise, for instance, a jumping jack, we can do that from a chair, same movement, no impact to the joints. And again, these chair squats can also get your heart rate up. But I would highly recommend walking if you have the ability to walk, especially during this time of year where it's starting to get really nice and warm outside. It's probably a good thing to get some fresh air as well. So finding a nice secluded place to walk would be a great opportunity to start building that cardiovascular endurance.
Excellent, thanks. So, so Lauren, I know that you have some really great resources out there for folks too. If people want to follow any of your classes that you're hosting online or learn more from you, where can they check that out?
So I publish most of my fitness videos on my YouTube channel, Lauren Rosella Fitness. I do have some exercises that are specific for people who may need a low impact workout. I do have a chair stretch on there. I have a low impact cardiovascular workout and strength workout. And that is Lauren Rosella Fitness on YouTube. And that's where all of my full length exercise videos are going to be.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us today, Lauren. I'm going to check our chat box and see if we have any specific questions. Someone does mention in our chat that they actually have bands that have special loops that patients can use to slide their hands into if they can't grip. So definitely a good tip from some other folks. We'll give it just a second here to see if we get any additional questions on any of our platforms.
I do also, Erica, have these circle bands, which are great for any lower body exercises. So these are maybe a little harder to come by, but you can wrap the, you know, I love the bands. Erica does some of my classes and she knows I love some circle bands. So you can do abductor work here, lifting and lowering, adding some more resistance. You can do a seated clamshell where you keep your feet together, knees open and closed. So there's a lot of things you can do with that circle band, including upper body exercises. We can do tricep exercises. So lots of opportunities with these circle bands too. They're just not accessible, I think, as the TheraBands are.
Excellent. Great. Well, it doesn't look like we've got more questions. We do have another comment that you can also use ankle weights around your forearms if you can't hold the actual weights. So that's another great tip for folks as well. But as Lauren mentioned, walking is a great way for you to be able to also stay active. And as a reminder, our Walk to Cure Arthritis has gone virtual this year and is going to be on May 16th. So if you're tuning in today and you haven't signed up yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, but we would love to have you join us. Registration's free, and it'll set you up a fundraising page so you can get support. So we hope to see all of you guys coming out to our virtual walk. I hope, Lauren, that you'll also join us for the virtual walk this year. And we will make sure that we post Lauren's YouTube page in the link in case you want to check her out even further. And just want to thank you again, Lauren, for your time today. I know I learned a few great tips, and I don't even have arthritis. So we appreciate your time. Any last words for our viewers?
No, but thank you very much for having me, Erica. It was great to talk about all this stuff with you. If you have any specific questions, feel free to send me a direct message in Instagram. My handle is Lauren Rosella Fitness. Feel free to ask any specific questions that you may have, or if you're watching this on the replay and you want to reach out.
Perfect. Well, thanks again, and everyone have a great rest of your day.